My name's Chris Helfrich. I'm the CEO of Eat, Learn, Play, and on behalf of our entire Eat, Learn, Play team, I just want to say welcome and thank you for being here for what is a really special, almost extraordinary moment in our foundation's short history, but also a great moment, a great day for Oakland and OUSD students. When Stefan and Ayesha were building Eat, Learn, Play, it was really built on this core belief that all kids deserve more, that all kids deserve the best. And so we've been working over the last number of years to make sure that students here in Oakland have access to the resources, the support, the opportunities that they need to thrive and that they deserve. When we were building Eat, Learn, Play, Ayesha in particular kept coming back to the expression that it takes a village. You know, we asked her, why are we doing this? Because it takes a village to raise a child, and Ayesha and Stefan wanted to be part of that village for a generation of kids in Oakland. They wanted to catalyze people to be a part of this village that gives kids the childhoods that they deserve. We've just hit 6 years old in July, and where we've grown has surpassed our early expectations for Eat, Learn, Play by a mile. We have now invested just about $90 million back into Oakland schools and its students. And then, thank you. You know, making sure that these kids have access to the nutritious food, the reading support, the opportunities to experience the joys and benefit of youth sports, and then making sure that kids have amazing spaces in schools, schoolyards and libraries and cafeterias and gymnasiums, giving Oakland kids the best. But this partnership that we have formed with the King family and Realize the Dream, it's special because it's allowed us to celebrate this dimension to Eat, Learn, Play that we never really dreamed of when we started this thing, and that is service, right? We talk about how it takes a village. At this point in Eat, Learn, Play's history, we have now engaged over 4,000 volunteers just over the last couple of years to put in 30,000 hours of service to do what we can to transform the public school experience for the 35,000 kids in Oakland who go to school every day to eat, learn, and play. And so that you all have been a part of our village or just, joining our village today, it means everything, right? We are on a movement to give Oakland kids the childhoods that they deserve, and you all play a major role in that. So I want to thank you very much. I get to make a couple of fun introductions. First, Janice Boykin, I would love for you to come up here. Janice is the administrator here at Bethlehem Church. And she's been a part of this church, she'll tell you, her whole life. But on behalf of Eat, Learn, Play, Realize the Dream, and everyone, I want to say thank you for welcoming us here. This is really special to be able to have this conversation right here.
Oh my God, I'll try not to cry. This is amazing. Bethlehem is blessed to have you here. We welcome you. And my story is I'm the vice president of Bethlehem. I've been here before I was born. That's my joke. But I've been here forever. And I wanted to share a story I shared with him earlier is that our pastor, William Hurstfield, he marched with Martin. And he named his son after him, named him Martin. So we have a history. And then also he was a chaplain for the Warriors back in the old days when it was, I forget the name, Purvis Short and Larry Smith. They all came to church here. So we have a history here in Oakland. So I just want to welcome you. I'm so glad you're here. So glad to see you. And thank you for using Bethlehem today.
Thank you. All right, and this partnership that the Currys and Eat, Learn, Play have with Realize the Dream, it's been a long time in the making, and Craig Kielberger, who I'll bring up, is the co-founder of Legacy Plus and helped to create and leads this Realize the Dream campaign. So Craig, would love you to say a few words.
I have the privilege to express some gratitude on behalf of Realize the Dream and on behalf of the King family. Firstly, thank you so much for welcoming us here to Bethlehem. It is beautiful. We also want to express our gratitude, of course, to Mayor Barbara Lee, to Steph and Ayesha. There is a whole thing the King's plan, so I'm not even going to express gratitude because they have that intention. But to the Eat, Learn, Play team. Firstly, Chris, you're amazing. Thank you so much. But also Sydney, Heather, Marissa, Tim, to the entire team and all their coordination and planning, so much gratitude. There's many in this room, but specifically to say thank you to the Realize the Dream supporters in this room. I want to thank our co-chair, Janice Evans-Page, CEO of the Tides Foundation, the Clorox team, one of our co-title sponsors, Eric, Tad, Shanique, Rachel, and Miranda for their incredible support. Also co-title we have with us, Stand Together Foundation, Brendan, thank you. And to our media amplification partners, WPP and Burson, Shaniqua, and Eat, Learn, Play's team, Midnight Dawn team, Linda, Tom, and Michael. Realize the Dream is an initiative dreamt up by Mr. and Mrs. King. For those of you who I'm sure are doubtlessly aware, but Martin Luther King III, when he left public office, he was formerly, of course, an elected public officer. When he left, he chose to pursue on a national and a global level his mission to create the beloved community. Long before he married his extraordinary wife, she was involved in public service in her own way, Arndrea Waters King, with the Center for Democratic Renewal, working with one of Dr. King's lieutenants, C.T. Vivian. And together, of course, they now lead the Drung Major Institute, the Martin Luther King III Foundation. They're chancellors of a free college in Kenya, best-selling authors, podcast hosts, and they dreamt up Realize the Dream as part of their mission to create the beloved community. Realize the Dream's initiative is 100 million hours of service. But the service is the how, the higher why is the beloved community, bringing America together at a divided time. As Dr. King said, everyone can be great because anyone can serve. So we invite you and your nonprofits and community organizations to pledge your hours of service. We're so grateful for the 100,000 hours of service that Steph and Ayesha so graciously pledged and rallying their community to take place. But I say with great humility, for any of you interested to get involved at this event, we would welcome it. You can learn more at realizethedream.org, or the Kings actually, as their gift of gratitude, have given out and are giving out a free copy of their latest book, What Is My Legacy, to everyone here. And so for anyone who would like, they're happy to sign it and personalize it, doubly kind of them. And for those of you who have young people in your life, nieces, nephews, sons, daughters, grandchildren, it is a beautiful way to share the dream with them. So on behalf of, again, the Realize the Dream team, my role here is very simply to express the profound gratitude that we hold to you. Thank you.
So the oldest son of Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King, Martin Luther King III is a thought leader on the world stage who's dedicated his life's work to social progress and the widespread healing of our nation and the world. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Arndrea Waters King has dedicated herself to public service as a leader in the global fight against inequity, injustice, and hate crimes, consistently working on behalf of those who have been marginalized by helping them find and collectively use their voices for change. Through Realize the Dream, the Kings are leading a powerful movement to uplift and transform our communities through the power of service. Stephen Curry, in case you don't know him, is a 4-time NBA champion with the Golden State Warriors and has been here for his entire storied 16-year NBA career. His incredible wife, Ayesha, is a renowned restaurateur, chef, 2-time New York Times bestselling author, actress, producer, and entrepreneur. And together, they're co-founders of Eat, Learn, Play, dedicated to unleashing the potential of every child and making positive impact here in Oakland and elsewhere for generations to come. So thank you. My first question is to Mr. and Mrs. King. Realize the dream. Your goal is a very bold one. 100 million hours of service by the 100th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birth. To both of you, what inspired Realize the Dream, and why is service and volunteerism at the heart of this movement?
Quite simply, what inspired us is exactly what we saw in that auditorium. The thought of all of the young children that were growing up in the country, and we have a daughter that is now 17 years old, and truly being concerned about the world in which she was going to inherit. And one of the things that we believe and that we actually know is that we are all heirs to the King legacy. So if there's no other thing from the I Have a Dream speech, people can recite my 4 little children. And certainly my father-in-law literally meant his 4 children, but in a very real sense, he meant each and every single one of us. And what we understood it is simply our turn to do our part in that long and winding road towards the march towards freedom. And we wanted to have, at a time when we seem more divided than ever, at a time when services that are so needed in our communities were being cut away, we wanted young people to find themselves, not in the King legacy, but also to find themselves in being a part of the world in which they are going to inherit. So it quite simply was something that was born out of our belief in and for young people.
I don't think I need to say anything. I think it was well said. But let me attempt to add a small dynamic, because as a child, I saw my dad assemble many teams. Certainly, he was the person who always received a lot of the credit, but it really was the team of people. He used to call one of the groups the ground crew, and he used the analogy of an airplane. And when we go on trips and fly on an airplane, there are many people we see: the baggage folks, the folks that bring the food, the folks that bring the fuel, the folks that clean the toilets. And that ground crew, if it was not for them, that plane and that flight would not be pleasant and may not even work. Not to get to the folks who are in the tower and all. But my only point is that when you think about the divisions, and although we don't really want to focus on that because you don't want to bring energy to something negative, the reality is there really is goodness in every one of us. And I think my father and mother throughout their lives, if there was if a person was 90% unfortunately bad, Dad and Mom would focus on that 10% good and work to extract that out of the human being. And so this process, this project helps to extract good out of everyone. And again, Dad would say everyone can be great because everyone can serve.
Steph and Ayesha, you've just been named the Chief Dream Ambassadors for Realize the Dream, this movement. I'm hoping that the two of you can spend a couple minutes reflecting, right, on 6 years of Eat, Learn, Play and the work that we've done doing our part for this generation of kids in Oakland, but also the volunteerism, right, the support that we've gotten from the community that's on display here and has you sitting alongside two such extraordinary people in the name of serving others.
So I think for us, when I think about community, it's always been about community for us from the day we thought about Eat, Learn, Play. And I think I get kind of angry inside of my spirit when you start to realize like things aren't being done, or you can't get certain things to move for people, and you start to feel this anger within you, and you're like, well, why can't we move the needle? Why can't we get this done? And then you kind of go back to this bare bones, grassroots realization of community. It's, okay, no, I'm not gonna wait for the people up top to get done what we need to get done. We can do this. We can lock arms. We can, stand our feet on the ground firmly and get it done together. And so I think for me, the thought of this has always just been a call to action to get it done, no matter how scrappy you have to be to do it. And I think that's what civilization is. When you look at history and people getting things done throughout time, it was never the big people at the top. It was always the community, that cyclical nature of people doing unto others. And I think when you get back to that simple thought of what community really is, you can truly move the needle. And so I think that's what it is for us every time we sit down and think of, okay, what's next, or how are we gonna impact the community? How are we gonna move the needle for these kids? It really just comes back to that.
Yeah, I think. To the idea when we started in 2019 and had our first activation in downtown Oakland at Lake Merritt, and brought out, I can't remember the exact number, thousands of kids, and to be able to put on an event where you show up, in a meaningful way. To Ayesha's point, like, we've had a team from day one. Our team has grown significantly, not only inside of Eat, Learn, Play, but our group of volunteers and thought partners, people who bring not just their time, their resources, their network, their world together in meaningful ways to amplify the ideas and the dreams and the visions that we have. We know we couldn't do any of our work without our team and our family and our community. And so for that to consistently happen and grow over the last 6 years is very surreal. To be sitting on this stage right here with the King family and our extended family now, and your team, like, it's unbelievable to think about. And everybody who's here, who spent your valuable time being with us today, I think it's really about that feeling. We always say, and we always encourage people, we'd love for you to write a check, we'd love for you to be here, but just if you can come to an event, that's like the first step of seeing that community in action, understanding what it's doing for these kids, these families. That feeling, I think, is pretty contagious, and we've tried to deliver on that every opportunity that we have. And now to have a kind of tangible, pledge of ours, and something that has followed the spirit of the King family and what you've established, is pretty special for our Eat, Learn, Play, family, and we want to deliver on that.
Arndrea, you've spoken a lot about the need for a coalition of conscience, especially in these times of growing inequities and challenges. Can you talk more about that and explain why you feel that's more urgent right now than ever?
Well, when you really stop to pause and consider the fact that the very last book that Martin Luther King Jr. ever wrote was entitled, "Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community?" I don't know anyone that has lived through these last few years that has not felt or been touched by chaos. And the way and the path forward is for us to truly build that community, the beloved community, which he talked about from his earliest writings right up into his death. But in order to do that, it takes a coalition of conscience. It takes us to all, each individually, raise our consciousness to look at how we can continue to eliminate the triple evils of racism and bigotry, poverty and violence. And it's really through embracing peace, justice, and equity. And again, that's only done when we all together, one of the things that we talk a lot about in our work is love and the concept of love, but I think whenever we hear that word, we automatically go to one type of love, which is the sentimental kind. But one of the things that Dr. King talked about was that there are different levels of love. He talked about the fact that the most basic level of love is utilitarian, and he said that we should never embrace that because you only love something as long as it's useful to you. He talked about a friendship love, and as beautiful as that is, he said that's not the highest level of love because you love your friends because they love you. And then he talked about humanitarian love, which obviously is a wonderful and a needed love, but that is not even the highest level of love because he said you run the risk of loving everything in general and nothing in particular. Then he talked about romantic love, and romantic love is great. It's good when it's good, and when it's not, it's not. So therefore, that's not the highest level of love. And then he talked about a mother's love, and there's something about the love of a mother. I remember reading a book once about a lady that had a near-death experience, and she went to heaven, and she saw people praying, and as they prayed, lights would go up, and angels would go and catch and bring them back. But she noticed something, that some lights were stronger and brighter, and so she said, well, what are those? What are those prayers? And she was told those are prayer that a mother prays for her child. And that love is just a beautiful love. It's unselfish. It's continually giving. But even that, and that would include the dad's love too. But even that is not the highest level of love. The highest level of love is agape. And what it is actually not sentimental at all. It's an acknowledgement that we are all interconnected in ways we can't even imagine. It's the fact that that what impacts one of us individually impacts us all collectively. And it's with that mindset that we are working through with this project and continue to work through, and that's how that we build that coalition of conscience.
I was going to, not that I needed to, Chris just nudged me. Do you want to add anything? No. But I can't. I always, one of the things that we have to, the old saying, when you know better, you do better, is true. Oftentimes we are, as a society, undereducated or not informed. It does not mean you're going to embrace everything, but that's why it's called a coalition. It's building this consciousness that we all can agree with this particular or these particular values and lift them up. I mean, our nation is probably more divided because people don't truly understand each other. There's something in every one of us that we can all relate to. I mean, I think that's part of why my father's message was so powerful, because he spoke in, for example, if someone steps on your toe and it's very painful, that same level of pain you feel universally all over the world. It's interesting for me to have gone to places in Eastern Europe, like Bosnia, and in the second largest city in Bosnia is a city called Tuzla. And Tuzla is on Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, and there's a statue of Dad in an Eastern European city where the only blacks they saw would be military men and women. But yet, there was something in that message that connected them to, it wasn't just suffrage, but that was a part of it. So, building coalitions give you the opportunity to have great success.
So we have about 10 minutes left. I've got a couple questions, but if we have time, would love to get one or two questions from the audience as well. This is for anyone who wants to answer, but Stefan, I'll have you go first. Our audience today, this room is full of really impressive people, business and community leaders, our corporate partners, people with lots of influence and reach. So Stefan, if you could challenge this room to take one concrete action as a part of Realize the Dream, what would it be?
Continue to do what you're all doing literally right now, and that's just showing up. You're doing it on behalf of this partnership, this initiative, but I know we're all successful in the ways that you put your mind to something, you work tirelessly at it. The same thing is with the ability to impact community, the next generation, is by showing up. I'll go back to my old answer, like the last question, but it's literally just the feeling of seeing people who are right there shoulder to shoulder, painting murals, interacting with the kids. Like, don't forget the little moments of influence that can mean the biggest difference to somebody that might need it, whether it's a smile, whether it's that agape love that was mentioned, whether it's being able to shake a hand. Like, that feeling, seeing and feeling love goes a long way, and in this community, I feel like that's the biggest gift we can give. It's the most reliable gift we can give. So continue to show up. I appreciate, and I'm thankful that you showed up here, but we can always continue to do that no matter what's going on in our lives. 'Cause I know we all carry a big burden.
My sentiment is basically the same as Stefan's. I feel like we have to get to a place where acts of service and community service aren't what we do, it becomes who we are. And I feel like on the heels of what he has said, it's the showing up. So just like keep showing up and build that muscle memory so that it just becomes intrinsically like a part of who we are to our core. So that would be my hope and desire for today.
You want to take it? One action that you would like one action that you think that you'd like people to take away or contribute as a part of Realize the Dream.
I hope that everyone understands that it's in a real sense, it's sort of simple because it's just taking the first step. It's almost like faith, knowing that there's something that each of us can do, because so many of us feel like, well, what can I do? Well, number one, we show up, which you already are doing, and many of you are already engaged in a number of ways, and that's great. But it's really getting the message out to the whole community. Part of our intention was to ensure that, service sometimes is for the privileged. Those who, when you think about, there are some families where you have a mom, just a single parent home, and the mom has to work several jobs, and sometimes the father as well. And yet they don't have the ability to get to a particular place of service. But you can serve right in your own dwelling. For example, in a housing unit, you could babysit for a family, or maybe when the community could do a coat drive or a clothing drive. And I was going to say that doesn't work here, but I forgot. I'm in Oakland and San Francisco, where it's cold in San Francisco. So yeah, they do need coats. So there are all kind of ways to really serve. We just maybe sometimes have to be a little creative. But my higher point was, we didn't want to leave anybody out. There's an opportunity for all of us. And that's why Dad said everybody can be great because anybody can serve.
What I would offer is I know that I think there's so many of us that are just truly exhausted right now. I think we feel exhausted with everything that we hear or read about in the news. We feel exhausted, trying to raise our kids and families. Just, we have so much that could pull us down. But being a part of this project, all together, working and standing, shoulder to shoulder, person to person, heart to heart, this really is about lifting us all up, calling us up to the highest part of who we really are. We come from a place of power, being for something rather than against. And so we're collectively asking you all to join us in being for all that is the best of who we are in our nature, being for all of the best of what not only Martin Luther King Jr., but so many people that have come before him in so many different ways, to be for a nation and a world where every child, no matter their zip code that she is born in, has opportunities and know that she is loved and well prepared and taken care of. And it is as simple as going to realizethedream.org, finding a service initiative that speaks to you in your area, or even starting your own. And as you're doing that, knowing that you're doing your part to truly realize the dream of Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King, and bringing forth really the fact of brotherhood and sisterhood of humanity and to this nation.
At Eat, Learn, Play, we could not be any more excited or grateful to be a part of this movement. We're going to have hundreds of volunteers this whole week transforming the entire schoolyard and the campus at Martin Luther King Junior Elementary School. But, it's just, everything that the four of you say resonates. And, going back to Stefan, just, that presence. Yeah, I will say, I think one of the most special things that Eat, Learn, Play has is the Curry's relationship with Oakland and with students in Oakland public schools, to the point where, I truly believe that all 18,000 elementary school students in Oakland, they feel like they know the Currys, and they're seen by the Currys, and they're loved by the Currys. And it's probably the dynamic with Eat, Learn, Play that I'm most inspired by. But I know we're short on time, but I would love, if anybody in the audience has a question, we'd love to make a couple minutes for that. Surely someone has a question. The question is, one of the highest moments, one of the lowest moments in the 6-year history of ELP.
I think it's kind of more recent, just around one of the highest points is the clarity of impact or focus and impact that we have, especially in literacy. And so our tutoring program is probably one of the points of initial immediate feedback, and understanding the sense of urgency around getting kids caught up to a reading proficiency by the 3rd grade. That's a milestone and a marker for a kid being able to realize their potential. That seems like something that's very straightforward, but it should be able to have a program or something that can help kids be on that right track, and identifying the tutoring program, going through the testing, putting select kids through that, and seeing the change, the dramatic change in a couple of months. That, to me, you see as parents, you see your own kid's journey, and we've had 2 of our kids who we were kind of on the fence how quickly would they be able to keep up, and we're able to have resources to help, to be able to do that for now, roll that program out through many elementary schools right here in our backyard. That, to me, we know that it's going to work, and we have an idea around the sustainability of that. And so the clarity of focus for us is huge, because if you do nothing else at that point, hopefully as kids get caught up, they're able to have their build confidence, stay active in the classroom. It changes their entire experience, and hopefully we can stay on that track for many years to come.
I think the low for me, and just bear with me, hopefully I don't get in too much trouble. The low for me, just as a mom and a citizen, I think has been for the past, 9 months-ish, waking up and not knowing what you're gonna wake up to, what's gonna be cut today, what are the kids not gonna have today, and trying to, as a team, think quickly on our feet on how to combat that. I think that's been really exhausting, mentally taxing, and just downright scary. And again, just an example of like a situation that we wish as a community we didn't have to be in, but it's our reality now. But I think the beauty or the silver lining in all of that with Eat, Learn, Play has been, I feel like we're getting to a place where we're always 10 steps ahead. And so we are able to look from a bird's eye view at what those particular problems could be, what could arise, what could get cut, and have plan A, B, and C on how to make sure that we're able to show up for the kids still. And so I think like within that chaos, there's still been plans of action, and I think that that's a beautiful thing, but definitely the low for me.
Well, I can say firsthand, your leadership, Steph and Ayesha, drives all of it. So I think on behalf of our team and our supporters here, thank you. That is all the time we have. Stephen, Ayesha, Arndrea, Martin Luther King III. We've got a lot of work to do, but we are motivated. And again, we are so grateful for your time, your partnership, and your leadership. Thank you.
What I would say if you're here in Oakland is that you need to reach out to this organization because they're doing some incredible work here in this community, and to be a part of it, absolutely. If you're also in other areas, you can go to realizethedream.org, and you can do one of two things. You can find opportunities within your community, but also we encourage young people to then also lean into their passions and come up with ways in which they want to serve. It's not always about us telling them how to serve. Or one of the things that Martin said that I love to underscore is that, if you're a single mom, right, and you are working 3 jobs and you don't have a car, you're not gonna have time to go down even to the soup kitchen, 2-door, but maybe what you can, or if your mom is in that position, but maybe what you can do in your apartment complex is help tutor kids 2 doors down. Maybe you can babysit for another single parent that is, on the, one level above you. So because we really are dedicated to young people seeing themselves as a part of building this beloved community. Our hope is that we ignite a youth movement. And again, at a time when services are being cut, when all of this, like when we go back into the community and be about our Father's business ourselves, that is our hope. So we are looking for, if we had 100 Steph and Ayesha Currys, then we would be well within our goals. So we also obviously are looking for other organizations to join us. We're looking for individuals to join us. We're in 2 million school teachers that believe now have access to, so we're in classes at a time when history is being taken out. They get to see us in the school, because learning about our history is not about collective guilt, it's about collective responsibility. So we found different ways for people to get involved. So go to realizethedream.org. If you're here, talk to Chris. Don't come to Steph and Aisha. I heard them say like they have events. Come to the activations. See what's going on here. And then also, please, we encourage you to get in touch with our partners at Legacy, because this is real. The love and respect, the incredible work that is happening here. We are so honored, and I can't imagine what Martin's parents would say about who you all are and what you all are doing. And so this is not the last time you'll see us in Oakland. This is just the beginning. So.